Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Monday afternoon slash evening Zoom edition. And I've been gone for a week, wasn't feeling well. And thank you for everybody who wrote in and wished me a speedy recovery. I'm going to go ahead and push through this. If I cough a little bit, you'll know why, but I think I can handle it. So the market since the halving has been consolidating, mostly moving sideways and up a little bit. Let's go to the charts and check it out. So should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So as you can see, we dipped below my zone here at 64K, but bounced back nicely. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles in a row on the daily chart. So that's a good sign. Like to see us back in the 70s. Wouldn't surprise me if we did that later in the week. But for now, we're just building momentum as we have in most halving situations. It's not really singular event where it happens and then everything takes off. It takes time. So I spent quite a bit of time on Twitter today, and different people were talking about different things regarding the halving and its effect and the markets overall. I mean, in addition to the markets overall, interest rates and things like that. I didn't see anything worth really pointing out specifically, but most talking heads are feeling strong that this year we're going to see a significant improvement in Bitcoin, and the alts may follow. They usually do. So looking forward to good things, and I'm hoping that this dip we had, over here, in this area last week before, is the hopefully was the pre-halving dip, as we broke 60K twice on the day chart last week, but didn't close above or below 60 either time. So yeah, again, I like this trend up here. Looks strong to me. And on Ethereum, it hasn't done as well. Recovery's not as strong. We did break below 3,000 for a while. We've broken it back above 3,200 at the moment. Again, would like to see that close above 3,500 on the way to 4,000. We still have not hit the all-time high on Ethereum. So, and then my friend Craig was going to share a chart of a structure that he's been following. Craig, you ready to do that?
Yeah.
All
Have
right.
you allowed to share?
Yeah, I have, and I'll stop mine. So you're on. You're on, my friend. And reminder, only I'm allowed to cough on the show. So anybody else, please be muted. Thank you.
Okay, so this is a day chart, and this chart was drawn back in around this time here,
All right.
which
So
I'm
a
trying to
couple of
see
weeks
a
ago.
date, a couple of weeks ago. So we were in the squeeze. There was this angle here, and a lot of us saw this chart around here, and we didn't know really exactly what was happening at that point. But it was in the squeeze. It broke out to the up here, hit the top trading line with the wicks, but then came back down and it broke through the bottom. And so this is the break. We were either predicting a break up or a breakdown, and the breakdown was going to be the more likely, and that is what happened. But it only went to the bottom of the trading range, as CJ already mentioned, and now we're getting a steady recovery. And this volume profile visible range is showing that we're heading up at the moment. There's strength just above where it is now, so it should continue up a little bit this stage. And just total agreement with CJ and everything else he said. But it's just interesting that how this chart has pretty much followed the prediction.
Yeah. Yeah, it
And
really did stay in that channel, and good to see it breaking back up. God, I
So,
really,
and the apex was the halving pretty much.
right, that that worked out pretty well there for your structure.
Yeah. So
Okay,
nothing really else to say about that.
all right.
Unless there's questions.
Okay, thank you for that update, Craig. He's been sharing that with us for the last few weeks. And let's any questions about the or comments about the markets overall before we head over to Altcoin Alert, look for some coins to trade.
Well, I'm liking them at the moment because it's getting a bit more predictable
Yeah, indeed.
and less volatile.
Yeah. Yeah, that break from what 72 to 60 was unpleasant for those of us who were long at the time. All right, let's look for some day trades and swing trades. So, Altcoin Alert, we'll start with that. I use this service primarily to find the coins that I'm going to trade that day or in the short term for a few days. So there are multiple sorts that one can do with Altcoin Alert. And those of you who've been with me for a year or two or longer know what I like to do. I'm going to start with well, first I'm going to refresh or reload, get the most up-to-date information. I prefer the altcoin radar, so I get all the columns. The default is usually this dashboard here. I don't care for this. I'm going to the altcoin radar. And then I'm going to sort by AA score. And looking for values 80 or higher, but I'll fudge a little in the 79, 78 range. And for example, Chromia here is something I set alerts on today. AA is telling us there's a 79.5% chance that this will go up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. So with that in mind, I'm going to put alerts on this and look for a good time or a good place to enter a long trade. And since I'm an experienced day trader, I do trade on some exchanges that allow for me to trade short, you know, so the trade will profit if it goes down. That involves some leverage. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But for now, let's go ahead and check out Chromia as a day trade. I've got that chart here. This is my day trade layout. I can make this available to you. It is if you're on my email list, I've sent videos that have this information on it. If you want to just download this setup. So, and I've got my layout such that I've got support and resistance using the supply and demand visible range by LuxAlgo. It's an indicator I like. You can find that over here in the indicators and find it that way. I do have a video on my setup if you need that. And then I use the RTI, the relative trend index. Been using this since about October to set alerts and potentially enter trades depending on what else I see. And on certain approaches, usually trend-based alerts, I will use this cumulative delta indicator for confirmation. But it's really just those three elements that I look at: support and resistance. Sometimes these Bollinger Bands too are useful. These green lines here with the red line in the middle. The RTI I rely on quite a bit, and then the cumulative delta. So I'm on the 15-minute chart. My favorite entries is this are this situation right here when it dips below the 20 on the RTI and comes back. And as you can see, go with my vertical line. When that happens, it breaks below and comes back. You can get a really nice entry. 2.4%. If you hold on longer, almost 5%. That's a really good day trade. 5% in 12 hours, really good stuff. And I use support and resistance to help give me some guidance when I'm trading manually on where to get out of a trade. Okay. But at the moment, especially if you're a spot trader, we're up here in the red zone. This is not where you want to get in. On this time frame, this 15-minute, we're already at resistance. You don't want to buy at resistance on the long side. You want to buy at resistance either coming out of the green zone or somewhere halfway between, depending on what your goals are. For me in my day trading, I'm looking to make about 1.3% move on the chart. I'm trading at 10x leverage, so that's a 13% move for me. If you're new to day trading, you should not be using leverage. Just use spot trading. Pile up, 1, 2, 3% wins, and your balance can grow pretty quickly. Okay, so what I'm going to do, since I don't have an entry at the moment, is set an alert on the RTI. So you can right click on it, add an alert. And I just showed you the cross above 20. So I'll select that one first, crossing up. I'll add the value I want is 20. And you can leave it on only once. That's fine, but it'll only go off once. I usually leave mine on once per bar close. That leaves it on all day until I turn it off. Usually do my alerts sometime between 7 and 8 in the morning, my time, and then turn them off, 7 to 8 p.m. And in that time frame, I might get 0 alerts, might get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. So what'll happen is when this dips below 20 and breaks back up, I'll get an alert when it breaks back up. I will not get an alert when it breaks below. So yeah, I didn't finish this alert. So those are my settings on, I'm going to call it, I usually call it the information source. This can be AA score. And TradingView will remember that for you if you put it in there enough. And then I'm going to notify on my app, show a pop-up on my desktop computer, and play a sound also on my desktop computer. And there's a few to choose from. So click create and you're good to go. I already have alerts on the RTI, so I'm not going to activate this one. Now, another option, since this one doesn't happen as much as some of the other ones I'm going to show you. So the next one is the 50 alert. Everything is the same except you type in 50. And then this is where I'm more inclined to use the cumulative delta for guidance. And here's an example of that. Get this out of the way. So this one breaks above the 50 here. And the delta has also turned and it's trending up. And this ends up being a really good trade. Probably get in right about here. And 2.8% in an hour. That's a really good day trade. This is another entry that happened right about here. It broke above the 50. The trend was really strong on the cumulative delta, but it goes against us, takes a dip. I probably would have done an additional purchase right down here and then rode this back up with 2 positions. So, and again, the alert's the same except you choose 20, crossing above 20, or crossing above 50 instead of crossing above 20. And then the final one you can do, you can do these on anything you want. Crossing up on the 80, once per bar close, AA score. And then the 80 is when it breaks over this top level. That happens here. It just depends on how you want to trade it. If the market's really pumping, you might want to go with 50s and 80s and blow off the 20s because it's not going to come down to 20. Yeah, nice 1.5% move there. And then it dips below and it goes back up here. And you can catch it again. So that would have been a good move as well. As you can see, it's just kind of bouncing around the 80 at the moment. You can just take a trade every time it dips below and breaks back up and pick off 1% to 2% moves the whole time. And it's been a while since I've done that, but that can be very effective. Okay, 20, 50, and 80. And then one final option, which is the one I do because I trade the market both directions, is you can enter a channel. And I'm gonna put 80 on top and 20 on the bottom. You can define this all, you could do 50 and 80 if you want, but this is the one I talk about the most. 80, 20, once per bar close, and the rest is the same. That's the alert I currently have on here. And this has gone off a couple times because it's dipped below the 80, where I might want to make a short move, but I just don't trust it because you'll see multiple times it's dipped below and then not done anything. This one here might have been tempting, but that was at 1 in the morning. I was sleeping. But again, despite some of the retraces we've had lately, I think we're still in a bull market and shorting can be a bit dangerous. So if you guys are dabbling in that, be careful. Okay, any questions on Chromia? Okay, I went over that in some detail, so I might go faster on the next few. See, we did an AA sort to get to Chromia. Other sorts I like to do are social activity, short-term sentiment, and long-term sentiment. We'll do long-term sentiment. We'll look for a spot trade, something you can trade on Coinbase. Okay, we don't have much in the way of a match though. Ontology. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something different. What I like to do is match up long-term sentiment with elder impulse. Long-term sentiment is what people are talking about online. Elder impulse is a technical indicator, and you can hover over these question marks and get a better explanation. But at the moment, we don't have any matches, which is unusual. Usually there's some matches here. There's another way to sort this, though. You can sort it for the bearish side. And this one will show you what's been beaten up, but most of the time, these are due for recoveries. So I haven't really used it for this purpose on this program. I do it all the time otherwise, but I'm sorting the opposite. I'm looking for bearish, and what I'm hoping for are some of those that dip down below the 20 and come back up. So we have IMX, which is something I like to trade. It's a really good day trading coin. I have an alert on Maker at the moment. HBAR I like. Elrond I like. These are all coins I know move pretty well, and I've been profitable with them over the last few months. So let's look at IMX. All right, let's look at this from as a spot trade though. Oh, went too far. So I'm on the 30-minute chart. This is a different layout. I still have the support and resistance. I've got the super trend, which is alert friendly. And then I'm going to use this Trendio LSMA, which is a moving average for confirmation. So here's a good example of that situation. The buy on the super trend goes off. The SMA is confirmed. We're far enough away. Not sure where we would have been when that happened. Let's see. We're pretty close to the reds. We're actually in the red zone though, so I would probably go to a longer time frame to determine my exit. So yeah, this has been in a buy since Thursday night. And as you can see, when it triggered, we have resistance back here. So this is an easy, evaluation. The beginning of the red zone is at 6%. Where the actual candles are forming here, the resistance is at 9%. So, had you stayed in this trade and gone for the 9%, you would have been out 3 days later. 3% per day is amazing as a trader. So if you get 9% move in 3 days, that's a really nice short-term swing trade. So that one would have worked out nicely. At the moment though, it's pumping too much to get in. So what I would do is one more thing for evaluation. On the day, go to the day chart and see that you've got, resistance up here at 352. So there's plenty of room for this to move back. I mean, the beginning of the red zone is here at 30%. And then, the top is, over 50. Somewhere between 40 and probably between 30 and 40 is where my goal would be on the swing trade, looking at the day chart. But as far as setting an actual alert, I think I'd go with a 30-minute. And what I wanted to do is dip down, trigger a sell alert, and then trigger a buy alert when it comes back from that dip. So we're going to right click on supertrend and we're going to go with supertrend buy. And I'm going to leave this on only once. And this was long-term sentiment. I'll probably go with handbell, which is what I use for swing trades. And click create. So when that happens, and here's a good example of it. So it does a nice long buy. Then the sell triggers and the buy comes back here. So this is where I'm going to want to get in, something like that. Pump, retrace, recovery. So, all right. Any questions on IMX as a swing trade? Okay, any questions on Altcoin Alert overall? Okay, because we looked at, I'll do one quick day trade using social activity sort. So I'm going to match this social activity sort with trading activity, fire, fire, thumbs up, fire, just don't want fire and poop. So let's see. Then we'll look for something I know moves pretty well, and we come to Cody, COTI. This thing's been rocking lately. It's up 6% today. So that's one I'm going to look at as a day trade. I think I've already got, do I have an alert on this one? Yeah, I've already got alerts set on this. And this one's close to breaking the 50. Yeah, it's kind of been putzing around down here and it hasn't broken through yet. So when it breaks above 50, and if the cumulative delta is looking good too, trending my way, ideally with a nice sharp angle, then I would take that trade. And there's plenty of room to go up to the red zone. Yeah, 7%. So good stuff there. And to set that alert, right click, crossing up on the 50. Once per bar close if you want to leave it all day. And that was social activity sort. And there you go. You could also do additional alerts for 20 and 80, like I showed you on I think it was CHR earlier. But yeah, that's this one's about to break the 50. You could even get in now and just hold some funds back for additional purchases if necessary. Any questions on Cody? Okay. Let's go to iCoinPro. And this is the other information source I use to help me find coins to day trade. And this is specifically a day trading approach. There's some overlap with Altcoin Alert, but the AA folks say it's okay for me to discuss this as well. But it's the home of the 1, 2, 3 dip, the training I send most people on my email list. And at the moment, it's got two tools that I like, the RSI Spy and the Buddy Coin Crawler. Now, since the market's been moving up, we don't have really what I'm looking for on the RSI Spy. RSI is a relative strength index, similar to the RTI that you saw on my other layout, on my day trading layout. RSI is actually much better known, but what I like to do is sort for the 1 hour RSI and look for values 30 and below. And those are coins that have been beaten down and are due for recovery. And we had that with Maker this morning, so I've got this one already already charted. So let's look at that. Maker MKR. This one's been trending down, and I got a little fake out here. So these are frustrating because the last time it broke above the dip below the 20 and came back, it was a pretty good move, or at least good enough for me. A little over 1%. So this one doesn't move as much as some of the other ones because the price is higher. It's almost $3,000, which I may have to rethink that on using this one. But there weren't very many that were dipping below the 20, so I think that's what caught my eye about it. But I took this break above here, and then it went against me. So right now it's just kind of going sideways. But eventually this will hook back up and work its way back up, something like this. But again, let's do a quick alert option on this. So if you want to set an alert, right click. I would go with the 20 option because that's the one that's closest to us at the moment. It's gonna be crossing up. And once per bar close. And this was RSI Spy. And the rest is as you want. You can also add alerts for the 50 and the 80 if you want. But I would probably just stick with the 20. Any questions on Maker? Okay.
I don't have a question on Maker specifically, but in general, when you're talking about, breaking through the 20 or the 50 or the 80, are you talking about a moving 20-day moving average, or what are you referring to there?
No, it's the values here on the RTI.
Okay.
So I'll make that a little bit bigger. So the middle line here is the 50, and this is the 20 and the 80.
So they're just a deviation from kind of the average that it's trading at, or what?
I haven't analyzed it that much, but
Okay.
because let's say if you do something similar on the RSI,
Uh-huh.
the relative strength index at 70 and 30 that most people use.
Okay.
That's why I like, and you can use 80 and 20 or 90 and 10 or, whatever you want. But the 80-20 served me pretty well with this RTI. It breaks down below and comes back.
Okay.
And the reason I've used this is because when this happens on the 15-minute chart, it's similar to a 1, 2, 3 dip set up on a 5-minute chart. Have you seen the 1, 2, 3 dip training?
Nope.
Okay, that's not going to be meaningful to you then. So, but yeah, the first thing I learned, and that served me well, is trading dips. So, whether you find them through what I'm showing you on the RTI, or whether you use, support and resistance, like the red and the green here, people love to trade dips, and
Sure.
I do as well. So,
Okay, cool.
all right.
CJ,
Frank, the father of the RTI, go ahead.
I would add that if you notice on the RTI, it can go very high. The RSI is capped between 0 and 100,
Right.
and it can be what they'll call it overbought or oversold, and which is not really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about the momentum, but they cap it. The RTI is not capped, so you see it went up to about 130 or 40 there, right?
Yeah, 135 over here
Yeah,
on
and
Saturday.
then you see it goes way below 0.
Mhm.
So it tells you the momentum is continuing. It doesn't tell you that it's oversold. There's a fine difference there.
Right, and I don't talk about this much because
Right,
this
it's
is on
in the
my
weeds.
this is on my my day trading setup. But Frank uses this rather differently, and it often stays in trades based on information he gets, and he's more of a swing trader than I am. So to each his own, man.
I also use deviations, on these as well. So when you see a higher peak, but the price is lower, or vice versa, whatever, you're getting divergence.
Yeah.
So anyway, enough of that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've traded divergence. I used to. I mean, a couple years ago, quite a bit, but I digress. Let's see, where was I? So yeah, at the moment, this should be ready. This will be breaking up above the 20 fairly soon. Could be a good entry for you guys. Okay, any questions on? Okay, we've got on the RSI SPY. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Buddy Coin Crawler, which is the other tool that iCoinPro has that I like. I'm sorting by the average low to the SMA line. That's the 24-hour low. The SMA line is the red line between the green lines and the Bollinger Bands I showed you earlier. And I'm looking for 4% or better. That shows me something that's moving today. And see, we looked at Cody already. Algo, audio. These are all coins I've traded. Doge. I traded Doge on Friday. Both long and short. Let's look at Doge. I'm not sure, why not? Good old meme coin. The OG meme coin. Okay, on the 15-minute, a little room to the red zone. 1.3%. On the RTI, we're above the 80, pointing down. Here's a good example of what can happen when you break below the 20. And get that or vertical line, get that break right about here, and it makes a nice move up. And it broke down and up a couple times. here, and here, here, and that was the final break that, well, not final, but most productive one. 2%, not bad. So again, on this one, I would probably set alerts to break above the 20, crossing up on the 20, then a separate alert crossing up on the 50. That's how I'd handle Doge, I believe. Okay, any questions on Doge or the Buddy Coin Crawler? Okay. That brings us to the email question and answer portion of the show. So due to my absence, I don't have much in the way of that information, but I do have a couple of questions that I received that I thought could be useful. So I will go ahead and go through those. One gentleman writes me, I think he's with us today. He says, I do not like the way the candles display. There's a gap between each candle and it's tough to see the trends. Now, I don't know if I can help him see them the way he wants to, but one thing I have not talked about is that you can set up candles, different types of candles if you want. Your candle setup's over here where I'm circling. And this drop down, if you put a star, if you click on one of these, it'll put them up here, sort of as a little toolbar, and you are good to go for different types of candles. Now, types of candles that show trends better is this one here called a Heikinashi, which is Japanese traders use it, and a lot of traders throughout the world use this to better show trends. But these aren't, as what I like to say, these aren't real candles. These are sort of approximations of candles. And it's designed to filter out the noise to show trends better. And as you can see, it does perform that task pretty well. And then you can also choose this one here, Renko, which I think is even more trend based than the Heikinashi. I don't think I've ever used these. Maybe on one strategy I was evaluating, and that's how I got up here. But I prefer to keep it real with your basic candle setup. But again, you can look at these and mess around with them, and that's how you do different types of candles on TradingView. And then the second last question I have,
CJ, on those candles, can I just share something on that?
I guess so. Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. I need to be able to share the screen again.
Yeah.
So I have a setup. I'll just try and reduce this back to. So I have this set up here, which so I've got three screens showing at the same time. Just give me a second to bring it back into focus. So what I've got here is I've got Bitcoin showing on normal candles. I've got the coin I'm interested in showing a trend setup. And then I've got next to it, I've got the real candles as CJ talks to them. So this way I can look at the trend and I can see, actually usually doing this at a 15-minute, not a 1-day chart. So here we can see the real candles and here we can see the trend.
Now, are those candles related to an indicator or is that
Yes, they're related to an indicator. But it wouldn't matter. It could be the Heikinashi candles or anything. It's just the idea of splitting it up into panels so that you can have the real candles next to whatever trend you're using.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. if you like that. I've seen your setup like this. It doesn't really appeal to me, but I could see how it would appeal to others. I'd rather just have the different tabs open, but this is a more
Mm.
concise, and you can see it on one screen. So I understand the appeal of it. But,
Yeah, I wasn't wanting to necessarily go into what all my indicators and everything are, but just the idea of you could set this to be 2 panels or 3
Mhm.
panels, and that's done up here in this part of the. You can choose whatever layout you want. Depends on what version of TradingView you've got.
Mhm.
Obviously, with the lower level ones, it's limited, and then you get the upper level ones, you can have more. Some of these high ones, you need really big screens to make them work.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know, so, but this is the setup I like and use.
All right, that's pretty cool. Any questions for Craig on his multi-panels?
No question, but I would add those are called linear regression candles.
I couldn't
If people
remember.
want
Yeah.
to look at it, and you have to, well, you could they'll overlap if you just put it on. So on one screen you have to turn off the normal candles,
Yeah.
so that they don't overlap each other.
Mm.
And
That's an indicator that provides the
Right.
extra set of candles. Yeah.
Yep.
But it wasn't so much what they were, because it could be Heikenhashi, or it could be
right.
any
But-
trend-based setup. I was just showing the idea of the different putting the trend-based ones next to the real ones.
But they
All
are
right.
different than the Heikenhashi, though.
Well, they are different, yes.
Yeah. That's all.
But it could be Heikenhashi in one panel and normal in another. Yeah. That's what I was mainly trying to get at.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate that. And I'll go to my last question, which had to do with KYC. Like, what is that? And this has been the bane of crypto traders' discussions for the last few years. KYC stands for Know Your Customer, and it is the process that's required to join most centralized exchanges, really any financial service company, just to prove who you are. It's supposed to screen out, money launderers and other bad actors. But you have to show, sensitive information to prove who you are. You have to upload maybe your driver's license. You have to take photographs, your real name. I don't know if they require birth dates, but it depends on the exchange. So in many foreign exchanges are screening out English speaking folks, mostly from Canada and the US and the UK. I think my friend Craig is safe for now, but that's also been frustrating because you can't get on, large foreign exchanges like Binance or Bybit, without passing the KYC process. I've got to work around for it, but I'm not sure how much longer it's going to last. But it has been a frustrating process for us. So in the US, if you can't pass KYC on a foreign exchange, then you're going to be really limited to Coinbase and what's the other one? Kraken, as far as centralized exchanges. And obviously you can use DeFi options like, maybe Uniswap. They just got sued by the SEC. So, who knows if they're going to last. But yeah, the KYC thing is really frustrating for all of us. So I hope that answers that question for that gentleman. All right, I've got a few more minutes if you guys have any more questions. If not, I will wrap it up here. Okay, looks like I'm doing that. If you're watching on the recording, I appreciate that. Hope to see you live next time. Otherwise, you guys have a good one, and I will see you Friday. Bye.